From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
So much more than a farm.
You're not going to grow without constant change and being outside of your borders.
We'll take you to Kansas and a family business that never stopped growing. Students get a hands-on dairy experience, while soybean farmers look to grow yields.
The big thing that's really showed up last year too, but is planting date.
As President Trump mulls more tariffs.
If they don't make their product in America, then they have to pay a tariff.
The latest talk about trade right now on AgDay.
AgDay is brought to you by Pioneer. Pioneer brand corn has game-winning statistics like a 10 bushel per acre yield advantage. Pioneer brand corn, your best year starts here.
Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. President Trump making plans to impose more tariffs. He's floating an idea to impose a 25% tariff on vehicles imported into the U.S. starting in early April, but that's not all.
I'm going to be announcing tariffs on cars and semiconductors and chips and pharmaceuticals, drugs and pharmaceuticals, and lumber probably, and some other things over the next month or sooner. And it's going to have a big impact on America. We're bringing our businesses back. If they don't make their product in America, then they have to pay a tariff.
The president's comments come just days after he ordered an investigation into other nations' tax and tariff policies. It also follows several other tariff announcements, including a recently enacted 10% across-the-board tariff on goods coming from China and 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. However, Rich Nelson of Allendale tells us so far there have been no tariffs that include grains.
We, of course, we're bracing for a lot of concerns and a lot of pushback and a lot of negative news on this issue. But as it stands right now, China's current tariffs announced last week, as it stands right now, they do not include specific tariffs for grains, meats, or ethanol. That's one very big positive.
Meanwhile, the EU is looking to avoid a trade war with the U.S. According to the EU Trade Commissioner, the bloc is open to negotiating lower tariffs on cars and other goods, but he warned if the U.S. follows through on tariff threats, it will respond, quote, firmly and swiftly. However, the EU says it is taking steps to align its import standards with domestic regulations with a focus on pesticide use and animal welfare. It says the move aims to address EU farmers' concerns and ensure fair competition. Now, the restrictions could impact major exporters, including the U.S., particularly when it comes to soybeans. A blast of Arctic air is continuing to bring record-breaking temperatures to the central part of the country. Meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht lets us know when it will be coming to an end.
Yeah, we got not only winter storms moving across the United States, but also a significantly cold air across the United States. So I wanted to go ahead and push this ahead into the end of the month and the start of March. You can see that pattern won't necessarily hold. In fact, we'll flip things back into above average temperatures back out here towards the west as well as into the plains. This pattern is going to shift to the east. And one thing that we can start to get a sense of coming out of winter and into spring, you'll see that the overall pattern is going to favor not only warmer than average temperatures, but our cold temperatures are going to be nearly as cold as what we just went through this past week. So we'll start to moderate those temperatures as we work out of winter and into spring. So the temperature outlook that keeps the warmth back here towards the west, and then the cold air down to the south and to the southeast end of the month and into March. And just your normal day at the beach, right? Peter sending this one in, capturing an amazing image. Fresh 12 inches of snow, a foot of snow. Virginia Beach at sunrise just makes you want to put your swimsuit on and work on your tan, right? No? All right. I'll have more in your forecast coming up.
Yield Builders on AgDay is brought to you by Acuron Corn Herbicide. Want 5 to 15 more bushels per acre in the bin? Ask for Acuron Corn Herbicide.
Next week, temperatures are set to warm up across a large portion of the lower 48. That will certainly have farmers itching to get equipment ready for planting. Well, today we continue our focus on yield with Missy Bauer and some ideas for yield builders in soybeans. As planters prepare for that first pass, these days beans are getting the call.
I think in soybeans that the big thing, and this really showed up last year too, but is planting date.
Moving beans from the back to the front is changing yield potential.
What we're gaining, if we look at, well, I was traditionally a mid-May planter and now I'm the first of May. Well, that was 4 or 5 bushels. And then when we went from, early May, late April and moved it up to mid-April, now I've gained another 4 or 5 bushels. So this planting date thing is huge in beans.
Bauer says they found beans handle cool soils better than corn because uniform emergence for corn is so vital. While it may not be possible to plant all of your soybeans first, just getting started has the potential to raise yields.
Part of the goal we want to keep in mind is just that you have less late planted beans on your farm. So we might come out here in southern Michigan and we might put some beans in by the 8th or 10th of April, just so that on my farm I have less planted after May 5th. We believe here that after May 5th our yields are going down fast.
Fewer late planted beans, higher yields across the farm as a whole. A great event for the dairy industry. Nearly 120 students from 14 different universities in the Midwest recently came together for the 2025 North American Intercollegiate Dairy Challenge. AgDay's Michelle Rook takes us to that event.
Clinton, this regional event was hosted by South Dakota State University in Brookings, with students conducting a hands-on evaluation at a local dairy operation. This year, it was held at past top producer finalist Modak Dairy of Goodwin, South Dakota. This regional dairy challenge is a chance for college students to act as consultants. They evaluate the dairy operation and then provide business and management recommendations.
So Dairy Challenge is a collegiate experience where we go out to a dairy farm and then evaluate some of their strengths and then identify opportunities and areas of improvement to improve profitability and kind of just hone into whatever the goals are of that farm.
Modak Dairy hosted the students at their operation, and co-owner Greg Mose welcomed their input.
They go to the feed shed, they go to the parlor, they go to the maternity area, they go to the freestall area, and then they evaluate and look at all the records and then come back with what they see that needs improvement or can be improved.
The students take the information they gather at the farm and work in teams to create a presentation that's scored by a team of judges. It's real-world experience that will help them in their future careers. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for AgDay.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Well, on Thursday, corn was on the rebound while feeder cattle sunk. We'll have a look at the market dynamics coming up next. And later, it might have started out as a farm, but this operation has grown into many different things. We'll meet a top producer of the year finalist in the country. Corn and soybeans reversing course, heading back into the positive on Thursday. How could they end the week? AgDay's Michelle Rook has a look ahead.
Corn and soybeans recovering on Thursday. Chip Nellinger is back with Blue Ray Agri Marketing, and let's talk about the bounce in the soybean market. Some talk that the president thinks we're going to get a deal with China. Was that the main story you think that drove it?
I think it was the main story. I mean, all the news from the past week or two has been on the bearish side. You've got the Brazilian harvest advancing at a pretty good clip. They're still, wildly more competitive than us on the world market. But, that was enough, that bit of news from President Trump that maybe, just maybe, we are ready to make some sort of a trade deal with China really got the bulls back, on the buy side again.
Yeah, I think a lower dollar probably helped as well, both corn and soybeans. But corn, man, Chip, so impressive here. Every pullback, it seems like it's bought.
It's unbelievable, really. And I think, to your point, the dollar's breaking. I think there's been a lot of inflationary money coming in off the sidelines after a couple weeks ago we had the hot PPI and CPI inflation reports. And I think it's brought a lot of money in off the sidelines, buying baskets of commodities to protect against inflation. That's really helped us. Corn had a bullish story to begin with. The traditional funds are long a huge amount, and now you've got this index fund buying that is kind of unquantifiable. How much money is on the sidelines waiting to buy commodities, and between gold and corn seem to be the two darlings of the commodity world right now with the funds.
And this is an opportunity for, at least on corn, farmers to do some selling, reward the market.
If you typically need your cash flow by March, we're north of $5 on these futures contracts. Basis, especially out in the deferred a little bit, is okay. And I think it's an opportunity. So it's kind of case by case, really boils down to where your cash flow needs are and whether you want to hold corn into summer or not.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, Chip Nellinger, Blue Reef Agri-Marketing. We'll have more Ag Day coming up.
Watch Markets Now with Michelle Rourke on the Farm Journal YouTube channel, keeping you updated throughout the day on the markets at the open, midday, and close. Find out what moved the markets today and what to expect the market to do next.
Farming has changed. Markets are riskier than ever. For customized, focused commodity marketing, contact Chip Nellinger or Adam Dreyer at 309-550-7213.
I want to start off looking at the current snow depth. If you're thinking about putting your bathing suit on and working on your tan in Virginia Beach, you can see the snow depth reporting in a foot of snowfall through portions of Virginia and North Carolina. But the snowpack in general extends back up here to the north, to the northeast, as well as out here to the west. And now typically we see that snowpack back into the Midwest, up here to the north, but to get the white down here into Tennessee, into Kentucky and Virginia, North Carolina, that is pretty impressive. Now it's not going to last. I expect that snowpack to be gone by the end of the weekend, if not next week, as we turn into a slightly warmer than average pattern towards the end of the month, but especially going into March, the first couple of weeks of March. Snowfall estimate as you go through your Friday and into your Saturday and Sunday, and see very quiet. A ridge of high pressure is going to anchor over 2/3 of the United States. And you see the little slivers here, right there? There's some lake effect snow in some of the Great Lakes, as well as a little bit of snowfall in the higher terrain out here towards the west. So again, snowfall estimate in general is going to be low over the next couple of days, over the next week or so, as we're not expecting much in the way of significant weather systems to move across the United States. Reason for that, again, the ridge of high pressure, clean real estate back out here to the west. This little, we call it a bit of an inverted shortwave trough, Friday and into Saturday could kick up some cloud cover and some light rain. But again, that pattern with the ridge out here to the west is going to continue to build from the west to the east. We'll get little pieces of energy within the jet stream. So the Clipper systems, that's what you're seeing right up here moving through. But in terms of what we just went through in terms of major winter storms, that is not showing up this weekend or most of next week. We'll start off with Addy, North Dakota. Partly cloudy, high around 24 degrees, low about 15. After Addy, North Dakota, Addy, Mississippi. Partly cloudy, high of 39. And let's finish it off. Addy, North Carolina.
What does it take to make fresh produce even more appetizing at the grocery store? As Jennifer Straley reports, an amazing display helps. She takes us to the fresh market in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
Most Americans choose where they grocery shop based on the produce department they like best. At the fresh market, where the season's bounty of fresh fruits and vegetables wows shoppers from the moment they enter the store, it's easy to see what's bringing them here.
When our guests come to the door, they know what season it is, whether it's citrus season, whether it's apple season, because we're building nice, big, well-merchandised displays in the front of the store, on the front market runs, and on our end caps. So when it's citrus season, they know it's citrus. When it's stone fruit season, they know it's stone fruit. And when it's apple season, they know it's apple season. But we have wide variety of items in each of those categories for our guests to enjoy daily.
Led by Director of Produce and Floral Merchandising Dennis Payne, the Fresh Market's produce team is meticulous, making sure the citrus stands at attention, the radishes are ravishing, and the greens crisp.
We're proud to provide the fresh, high-quality items for our guests every day.
Reporting for Ag Day, I'm Jennifer Straley with The Packer.
All right, thanks, Jennifer. Well, coming up, we'll meet another Top Producer of the Year finalist, a farm that is all about growing its business.
I am so proud to present the 2025 Top Producer of the Year to Mark Arnosh and Arnosh Farms.
We're happy to announce Colorado farmer Mark Arnosh has been named 2025 Top Producer of the Year. Arnosh on hand to receive his award at this year's Top Producer Summit in Kansas City. Now, we brought you Arnosh's story earlier this week on AgDay. Arnosh farms in Prospect Valley, Colorado, about 35 miles northeast of Denver. You'll remember Mark converted his family's sugar beet farm into growing seed wheat, seed barley, and grains for the craft beer and spirits industries. And he's working to bring resources, services, and amenities back to his small town. And we have one more Top Producer finalist report to bring you. This time we head to Kansas and a farmer who runs things from the ground and in the air.
I'm a pilot, and so there's always a plan, execute, debrief type of scenario of everything you do.
A pilot by training and a farmer by trade, Chase Larson runs his operation more like a Fortune 500 company than he does a farm.
Being able to get outside of what you're doing every day and hearing other people's experiences is crucial to making it a successful company.
From regular board meetings to his involvement in peer groups, Chase took over as CEO about a year ago.
He was doing a lot of the responsibilities up to that point, as far as negotiations, as far as cropping decisions, negotiations, relationships, everything it takes to run a farm. He'd earned that respect, and my feeling time was right.
He walked in and said, as of right now, my mom was there too and said, you are CEO of all Best-of-4.
A surprise in a way, but Chase has always been an integral part of the operation, even buying and brokering loads of hay in college.
That's how I kind of really got into logistics and shipping, negotiating. That's how I really got into it when we got into the trucking business.
Today, Best-of-4 Hay Company and Best-of-4 Farms are just two of the 6 businesses that make up the Best-of-4 family of companies. Best-of-4 has 40 employees, 30 of which are full-time. And one business that's sprouted within the past decade is a company called Grandpa's Best.
As we realized we had some really good talent around us, and being in the hay business for a long time, we said, how hard can it be to start a pet food company? And it's really hard.
The wild idea to start a pet food company that didn't come from Chase or Thane. The idea came from Chase's late wife.
She came out here and she just got a curious mind. But she walked the pastures, and she was a K-State grad, so she said, I wonder what else can eat this besides cattle. So she got 7 or 8 or 10 different species of grasses, and she sent them to K-State for research. What else will eat this? And it came back with the rabbits, gerbils.
They hired a firm to help explain the pet food business, uncovering a $3 billion pet food market worldwide.
And we said, well, sure, there's a piece of that we can find.
A business that's doubled in sales every year since 2019.
Chase and Celine, they brought a difference, and they just taken it to and put it on steroids, and all of a sudden it's taken off in a whole different direction, and we're excited about it.
Celine Larson was a light on the farm, in their family and in their community.
She was someone that was an entrepreneurial spirit, enjoyed agriculture.
In 2017, Celine was diagnosed with cancer. Their 4 kids were 2, 4, 6, and 8 at the time. And Chase's focus shifted from farming to fighting for Celine's life with treatments in Texas.
I think the longest stint was like 36 days that we never came back. My mom took him to school every day, got him ready, fed him, took over that role as why we were down there fighting cancer.
On December 9th, 2019, a little over 2 years since she was first diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma, Celine Larson passed away at the age of 35.
Most people think, how do you get through things like that? But these negatives are not negatives.
Best-of-4 Farms has doubled in size in the last 16 years, growing to 12,000 acres. And Chase says this 6th-generation farm isn't done yet.
Very entrepreneurial, driven, not afraid to fail, not to figure out a mistake here or there. You're not going to grow without constant change and being outside of your borders.
Chase's constant search for value, while not losing sight of the fact quality is their legacy, is why Chase Larson is a finalist for 2025 Top Producer of the Year. Congratulations to all of our Top Producer finalists and award winners. You can read all of their stories over at agweb.com. And that's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Have a great day.